right.
Call the meeting to order, November
Camera's
7th,
on.
2003. Those present here are three commissioners, Kathy Tobine, the two deputies, the chief, and Paul Fitzgerald, and
Sean Bentley.
Sean Bentley. Okay, the first thing on the meeting is we're going to go in non-public per RSA 91-A3, Roman numeral 2.
Consideration of legal advice provided by legal counsel either in writing or orally to one or more members of the public body where the legal counsel is not present?
Is present, either or.
Okay, is present.
Yeah, we'll do that in a motion.
Yes.
Is that a motion? I'll second it.
All right, so, let's see. Tim, Eric, roll call vote?
Roll call vote. Paul, yes.
Tim, yes.
Eric, yes.
At what time?
And non-public session entered at,
5:31.
We good, Kathy?
you have to say what time it reconvened.
It's red.
Back in session at 6:10.
Do we need to make a motion to seal the minutes of the non-public?
Yes.
Then I make a motion to seal the minutes of the non-public session.
Second.
Been moved second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That's a heavy stuff.
Okay. That's set.
What's that?
That's going.
Yep.
It is.
Okay, correspondence. Radio construction contract for the Center Street Station site.
So, per the commissioner's request, I contacted Lura Construction to do a preliminary site analysis of what could fit at the Park Street location. And they said that would be a new
Center Street.
Center Street, sorry, I said Park Street, I made a mistake. Center Street location, and they sent me a contract over for them to do that, and the amount for them to do that is $8,938, and they, once approved, they expect that the work will take approximately 2 weeks to complete and provide a report. And they'd be using existing GIS data and online maps to fit what they could on the property that we own. They wouldn't do like floor plans or anything like that unless you liked what they provided you, thought that it was feasible for them to move forward, and that would be an amendment to this contract with an additional cost thereafter.
So I haven't read it, but they're gonna look at how big of a building will fit on that property.
Assuming that they tear the one there down.
Right. And any red flags that come up in regards to putting a building there.
Yes.
So they'll do all that, like, there again, the town was there. I don't know if there's tanks in there. We don't know. I think them,
So,
one time I think there might have been.
so if you read the contract,
Thought they got removed, but I don't know.
Removed the tank in late 2000s. Essentially. I don't know if there's probably more, but
That's what I mean. I don't know if there's more in there or not.
so
because
they would find out about that later.
So they'll find out all that
if,
stuff.
If we, not in this report, it would be in, if you thought that anything could fit there after their current report. They want to see if what can fit there is worth looking at any further. So they're gonna try and see what they can fit there. And if that meets your approval, and you say, okay, let's move forward, then they'll do additional studies, which would be borings and a real survey and all that kind of stuff to go forward. But
Or because the building's pretty much the whole, we think.
it's a little bit bigger than the building, but not entirely, not that much. So,
So basically, all they're charging us $9,000 just to tell us you can build a building here,
And the building can be this big.
and the building can only be this big.
right.
Wow.
Well, they would probably tell us that, okay, it's gonna be a 2-story or 20-story building, but obviously the equipment's most likely to be at the bottom.
Yeah, they give us that type of information.
think that's what you said last time, of course, maybe I read it.
Can I ask a few questions, because I wasn't at the last building committee meeting? How many parking spaces does the fire department get allowed to use that aren't on fire department? Well, how many are on fire department property? I assume it's only what you can park behind the building.
So since the new parking regulation kind of went into effect, we're parking everywhere we can. We need 12 parking spots during the day or shift change, because we have 4 administrative staff, including the deputy and myself, and then 4 people on duty and 4 people coming off duty. We need 12 parking spots. So we're parking all behind the fire station right now and in our allotted parking spots, paved parking area.
What does allotted mean?
5.
6. Don't we own those?
We own those,
Yes, there's 6 of them.
Beyond
Yeah.
that, we're not allowed to park.
So where those 6 parking places are, is fire department property?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
If you look at the, I mean, it's not a survey plan, but if you look in the town website, it shows those, it's a 5.5, I guess is a half of one of the spots, we don't know. But
That's to the left of the building?
if you're looking at the
That's
building to the
correct,
left,
yeah.
yeah.
So 3 spaces out, 2 deep.
Nope, it's 2, and then 2
2
more.
in the back.
2 in the back, yeah.
And then whatever you can park behind the building.
What can we get back there, 4 or 5?
Yeah.
Kinda. I've been putting nice notes, because everybody else wants to park back there too now. So I have to put a note on people's cars pretty much every day I work.
And there's nothing on this side except for where the fire escape is?
The fire, it looks like, again.
It looks like the fire escape doesn't even
We-
pull it
the
on.
part of the fire escape might not even be on our property. Yeah. Goes like straight back. And then where we park actually is railroad property, in the back of the building, because the railroad has a right of way into that.
Do we know how far into that?
Well, and we're into it. It's, if you know the dirt road behind the fire station, about 1/3 of that dirt road belongs to the railroad.
So what, that would present us from building only, what, a couple feet behind it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah. So potentially you lose parking spaces, you don't gain any. I mean, there's no way to
Well,
gain any.
That's
Make the
one of the
building bigger.
issues with, building at Park Street, is that you have to kind of figure out all this stuff, and I don't think the plot of land that we currently own is really large enough to warrant, building a building there. I think we would need to acquire additional property to make it worthwhile, but we don't own additional property. And us acquiring additional property, I think, is counter to what everything I've heard that the town is trying to do, is create more parking spaces. But I'm not a decision maker in that respect.
Okay, so, I guess another question, the building currently is what, 5,500 square feet?
58, I think. It's 50. Yeah,
Whatever.
Yeah,
So-
it's about 55 or 5,800 square feet.
So say the architect can come up with, I'll just make up a number, 7,000 square feet there in the new building. And the program came up with 14,000 square feet. So are we as commissioners okay with giving up training rooms and extra bunk rooms for students and to get down to
To get down to what would fit,
Fit there.
I think you would kind of have to just recreate what we have, only newer, where you would have
Maybe better
administrative.
laid out,
It
right.
might work out that it's a 3-story building instead of 2 because of other requirements of the new fire station that we don't have in the old one, where, proper decontamination spaces and things like that, which would take space on the first floor. I believe the second floor would probably be living quarters for the duty staff, and then maybe a 3rd story for the administrative staff, and maybe a small conference room or something up there. You would definitely need an elevator, 2 staircases, under the current building code to meet to meet those things. So they have to take up space, that's why it ends up being taller than 2 stories now. Because the footprint is really all, it's, was it 0.12 acres?
Something like that.
It's 0.12 acres,
Yeah, small.
it's small.
Let me throw this out. We know the town wants it, parking. They're willing to negotiate with us anyhow. What if we sold it to the town, take the money and invest it down? It is gonna cost more money down there, but invest it in Northfield. I mean, if you sell it for, say, $200,000, that $200,000 would pay the difference down there, what you need to do to bring it up to whatever's wrong down there. We know Tilton is not the place, we've heard that. Well, you weren't here, but from a couple firefighters said it's not practical to build it up there because of the traffic.
Up on San Bernard Road.
Yep,
Oh, yeah, I'm in agreement. I mean,
Yep.
you're increasing call response times
yep.
for a lot of calls. I'm looking at a picture of the property.
That's on the town website,
Yeah,
the satellite view with the property border.
yeah.
But
The
part
back-
of, the
back
front of
of
it
the
is
side.
Center Street, so you can't really take that part of it. But, I mean, if you
Those front
maximize.
stairs are probably in the
Chief,
street right
0.22.
away.
Oh, 0.22, excuse me.
It's still,
Yeah.
so the dumpster's not even on our property. Don't tell me.
Don't tell anybody.
Part of it
Part
probably
of,
is.
maybe half of the dumpster's on it.
But it was the wish of a number of people that this be explored. And that's why this is in front of you now. And it's up to you guys to decide whether you really want to explore it, or do you, upon review, you say, yeah, we're chasing a pipe dream, or, yeah, let's go with it. Maybe we can do it with a 3-story fire station there.
Well, I think this will let us know what's going on.
This will give you the answers, so if you bring up any type of proposal to district meeting at either the next one or the one after that, you can say, we did a study of the Center Street site, and
It could be a $10 million building, and we're gonna say, I mean, I don't know, I just thought, yeah.
We just keep throwing money after different things.
Well, it's not from a lack of trying.
Well, I understand that, but,
It's been tried several times.
yeah.
I think we're stuck in a political battle.
I don't think we've ever tried Center Street.
No, we have not.
No, we haven't.
I think the
Shock and awe.
building committee that ended up with the Tilton School property did their own evaluation of that site and came up with multiple reasons why they didn't think it was a feasible site. And I think it's on our website in their report.
I mean, right, it's not a feasible site because there's only 0.2 acres and there's not enough room for the size of building that we think we want, and, the parking issue, and you're not gonna have all the gear there, and.
Yeah, the exit and.
But when you take the other considerations, people on the building committee saying that, well, a $5 million building's not gonna pass. People saying that, if it's in Northfield, you're gonna have a hard time getting Tilton to vote for it. If you move to Northfield, you're gonna increase response times to some percentage of the calls, which is a pretty high percentage. So that opportunity resolves a few of those issues, and if you can do it at a much lower cost, but if you're tearing the building down and rebuilding it, I don't know if you can do it at a much lower cost. And then what do you do with the firefighters in the meantime?
What
You
I
got a
heard
year
is
long
that
in construction.
we'd have to put trailers at Park Street, but there's still not enough space to store all the vehicles that we have now inside, which,
What do you do with the two that you're gonna be displacing? Yeah, put a lean-to, I don't know.
well, some of these things you really don't want out in the cold.
No, I know.
The ambulances certainly can't be out in the cold. That's a state regulation. They have to be stored at no cooler than 55 degrees. And fire engines, if you leave them outside long enough, they start to freeze.
Right, well, you might maybe have to find off-site storage for the rescue truck and a tanker or something, so you can put the engine and the ambulance down there, or with a fit or whatever. You have to find some solution if you decide to go that route.
Yeah,
But there's-
it would impose additional costs.
Right, it's not
beyond
just the
that as
cost of
well.
the building and building it, you're gonna have all these other incidents.
Rental for living space for the administrative staff and the duty staff.
Well, I would entertain having them do this because the other thing it would necessitate would be a discussion about what are the costs when you put a multi-floor building in, and you gotta pay for an elevator. Does an elevator cost that much more if it goes 2 floors or 3?
No.
You're gonna lose space for a stairway. How much more do you lose if it's 2 floors versus 3?
Well, the square
And then
footage,
the
floor
cost-
square footage is the same, but it's vertical.
Right, yeah, so you have less foundation cost, less roof cost, but you know, is it cheaper to build? Is it more expensive?
Brass pole, get down for the second floor. Like, for the-
Finally, we can
For the
get a
third
pole.
floor, we can get it for Catherine to come down.
You can slide. Too old for a pole.
I want to slide.
You don't like the slides either.
Into a pool.
How much space did that, no.
The slide takes up a lot of
It would take
space.
probably 0.22 acres.
That's just for the pool at the bottom.
Parachutes,
Yeah.
I
parachutes.
see.
I mean, you know, what, can you tear the lean-to part of the building off and turn it into a appropriate size space for another ambulance without remodeling the rest of the building? Would the taxpayers want you to spend the money doing that without remodeling the rest of the building?
It would have to be much wider than it is now, because it's only 10 feet wide, I believe, 9 feet inside. It'd have to be at
It's
least,
11 feet, according to the town records.
okay, 10 feet on the inside, 11 feet on the outside. I knew it was something like that.
I know, it's an interesting thought. It's an interesting thought to me because being on a number of these committees and you listen to the reasons that they get voted down. Cost, location are two of the big reasons. The location is the location, it's the current location, it's a good location when you look at the costs.
So,
And because you're not gonna put up a 14,000 square foot building or 20,000 or whatever, you're really gonna put up a, I don't know, whatever it comes out to be.
Is it a $3 million Band-Aid?
Is it? I don't know,
I don't know.
right. It's
Yeah.
worth, I think it's worth asking the question.
I agree,
That's my 2 cents.
because we know that works.
Just another cost that you probably have to do that would make it easier though would be to put some type of signal, traffic signal there that turns red when they're coming out on an emergency call. Like they do down in Loudon in front of that one, that's the station on Loudon Road, they have a.
It was,
That's all possible. You have to,
Well, that's,
you know,
that's a
state
deal.
DOT.
Yeah,
That's a, but I mean, that's
They
a
have
cost,
on
that's
Oh,
almost
it's
gonna.
it wouldn't be a cheap cost, it'd probably cost because you'd have to bring everything up to
There
current
used to be one
standards.
there, why did it go away?
Because it didn't, they never got approval from the state to do it, they just went and did it.
Oh, the state took it back
I
then.
got whacked by a log truck every now and then. Most people didn't really pay a lot of attention to it.
Just put it on a rope so it'll spin all the way around.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we
That's
had it
sad.
a couple of years, it was there a couple of years, yeah.
I remember it being
Couple
there.
flaggers out there, so.
An appropriate way, or the way they would do it now, is there'd be warnings before the intersection. The lights would be high enough so that nobody was gonna hit it, and there'd be more than just one light. It would look like a regular intersection, a legal intersection, and it would be controlled in that manner, because I know that's how we did it in Tewksbury. Well, that was the Mass DOT, but I don't think that New Hampshire's that far off in the requirements of something like
Yeah,
that.
that's a state road, so.
Right.
And if there's any federal thing involved, they have to Now, I don't know, I think Route 3 is just a state road. I don't know if the feds have anything to do with it.
No, it's just,
Where's this money gonna come from?
We have,
In that building, land and building.
yeah, there's a, I don't know what's left in it, but we can come out of there.
Any idea how much is left?
I can tell you, hold on.
Well, there's money left in the budget for design and engineering fees and things like that, for things like this.
But they wanna know how much. So, hang on. I didn't have a chance to update all the actuals on the government's budget, so.
I gather you're not in favor of this.
I just, you know, I think, you know, we can take a look at it. I don't mind taking a look at it, but I think you're gonna be a little disappointed, but.
No, but it's come up, and so if we don't do anything.
That's
we're gonna-
true.
We're gonna get asked why we
Enough
didn't
people
look
have
at
asked questions about it that if you don't explore it. they
Well,
can-
I just hope if we do it, people understand, we've narrowed down Sandburn Road, and if this does not work, we narrow this down, we only have one option left. And I hope people realize that. I mean, instead of just throwing out, well, how about over there? Let's look at that area, let's look at this area. I mean, enough is enough. I don't mind doing this. I mean, $9,000 is not a lot of money to.
That's what those dollars are.
I mean, it's a fair amount of money, but to keep people happy, I'm willing to.
At least you're exploring all your options.
even those,
Well, and next time, they're gonna say, well, down by the school, there's a piece of property down there, let's look at that.
But the thing is it for sale?
Somebody will find something.
yeah, it is for sale, but it's all,
That's too far away from everything else that we have to. That's-
yeah, if you're looking at that and you're saying no to Sanborn Road, then there's,
There's an issue.
So I wanna make a motion?
You wanted to know.
Yeah, oh, yeah, let's-
Hold on. Let me get,
Anything else you want to-
no, we're looking at every possible.
The other question I wanna ask though is, I don't know if we ought to take it out of the budget or the land and building fund.
all the rest of the funds for this have been coming out of the money that's been set aside, that warrant article.
From 2 years ago.
From 2 years ago. We've been using that. That has been what's been
Okay,
used.
is there
Warrant
enough?
Article 6. Yes, there's $53,000 left in that account.
So we have enough in there to do that.
Well, the $100,000 was Marrero, and then we added 15,000. Then we're gonna add another 9, so if we,
At some point, you're gonna be
at
touching the
some
land
point,
and
we're
building.
gonna
Right.
run out of money.
At
But
some
that's
point you
why
will.
we voted at the last district meeting to have the commissioners become agents to that, so you can just spend it when you feel it's necessary to spend it. And
How much was in the land and building?
the 700,000 and change.
Something like that, yeah, hold on.
Was this qualifies land and building, or is this just,
This qualifies as warrant article 6 from 2021.
is that 4904?
That is correct.
So we have 53,149.
That's what's been spent.
Well, it says we're over budget, so.
What's the number?
It's on page
The
4.
53, in brackets, the 53,000,
Yeah,
that's what's remaining.
right.
All
that's-
you've spent is the 45,000.
yeah.
Oh, that's the warrant article,
Yeah.
100,000.
That was
Yeah.
from 2021.
Which some of the money was spent to send some people to a fire station conference too.
That's right, yeah. Yeah, remember that.
Yes.
So,
Bear with me, sorry. $781,474.70 as of August 31st. I haven't received any bank statements since then.
That's in the,
Land and building.
Land and
building.
building, yes.
I'd rather take it out of the other one, I think, than land and building.
The warrant article.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Article 1, yeah.
Well, I move that we execute this,
Authorize the chief to sign.
and authorize the chief to sign this alternate site assessment for the Center Street site location.
The amount of-
with the
In the
funds,
amount of $8,930.
with the funds to come out of the, you have to say where the funds are coming from?
We can,
With the funds to come out of, what's the name of that account? 52,
Was it line 4904?
40,
I'm assuming that's where it is,
Yeah.
yes.
line 4904,
the 2021 warrant.
21 warrant article 6.
I'll second that.
Okay, it's been moved second. Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, the building committee, I guess we don't need to do anything on that. I mean, unless you've got something to bring up. You weren't there last time.
I wasn't there, you were there, I hear,
I was there.
and this was probably the center of the conversation.
It was, one of the firefighters brought it up, that we should look into something like that. So, I think the board, they discussed that we ought to do that. I believe that's what the board wanted,
Yeah.
to bring it to our attention so we could, they could, look into it.
And here we are.
Here we are.
And we voted to, so I guess.
So we should have something by Thanksgiving.
So I'll talk to them tomorrow and,
Well,
That's
the
in the-
building committee meets next week, Monday,
I
right?
don't think they're gonna have anything by Monday. But the following one, perhaps.
Are they gonna meet, we're gonna meet on Monday anyway, right?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know what we're gonna discuss.
No, the program. Okay.
Okay, let's move on. Chief's report.
So I emailed you all the chief's report last Friday. I'm open to further questions that you might have.
We received 5 mutual aid ambulance responses because we've had so many overlapping calls.
Yeah, so both our ambulances were in service the whole time.
So it wasn't because we had an ambulance out of service.
Thursday, we'll have the ambulance out of service because we're changing from the summer tires to winter tires. That's only about 3 hours. It's Thursday, right?
Yeah, Thursday and then the following Tuesday. I believe was the other day.
Thursday, you might need those winter tires.
We're gonna-
You get it done on Wednesday. Pretty sure that's the first 2 ambulances for Thursday. That's the people slide off the road.
No, yeah, the rail stop for us, it's really hazardous.
We received 10 mutual aid engines response. Do we have something major?
Was that from the?
That was from the
Home Depot.
Home Depot fire.
Then at the same time, we had Home Depot gas leak, and we had smoke in the building at Tanger Outlet, so that was a lot of it. I'm sure there was some other ones,
Yeah,
but
that was most
that
of
was the majority of it,
Yeah, there's probably 6 fire departments there
yeah.
that one day.
Okay.
Because the recent fire was in November, right?
it. Yeah.
You just had a fire in November
Says here,
in Northfield, right across from,
Oh, yeah, PCC.
across from PCC on Granite Street.
Granite Street.
The kid was extinguished, but there was like 6 dead animals and some other things.
In a home.
So, in a home, yeah.
That's what we were called.
Okay, so.
Somebody lived there, yes.
says here, E1 is going to Dingy's for warranty work.
It's there now.
Yes,
It's gone up there.
Monday, Monday,
Now what,
How many days?
till it's done.
so what's there are things that are wrong with it?
Well, it's just some things that need to be adjusted and under warranty.
But it'll be more than a few days.
It's been 2 days now.
Yeah, I'm hoping to have, the reason we sent it on Monday is to hope to have it back by Friday.
Yeah.
In the tanker, says here.
Still waiting for a part.
They're in, he called me yesterday afternoon.
Okay.
Is that over Lake Street, Jim?
Yep.
Yep, but I don't wanna send that till we get the engine back. So we're gonna hold off until the engine comes back.
The truck's runnable, right?
Yeah, the truck's runnable, yeah, it's just, yeah.
We had that conversation last night and I failed to ask. Is there a way you can report how many times the tanker has responded so far this year and how many times the ladder has responded?
Yeah, I can look it up.
Yeah. Can you do that for me? Can you do that?
Yeah, it's not easy, because when you put in a report, it's all the vehicles on one line, it's not delineated.
Right.
And so I can do it, it's just gonna take a little bit of effort.
No hurry. When you get a minute, I think that'd be interesting.
So the tanker and the ladder? For what period of time?
Year to date?
Year to date, from January to date?
Yeah.
Okay.
That other, on the rescue, that was year to date or was that
That was
year?
last year, I believe. I have to go back and look at it, but I think I got it from last year. 'Cause I like to do things in a year's time.
All right, then do last year, that'd be fine. This is that year to date.
Okay.
Thank you.
On the Park Street tower there, we've got a check for $1,537.50. That's for 1 month.
Every month. Yep.
Every
Sit.
month.
Every month.
Every month we get that. And I thought we had the money
We do.
in separate.
It goes into the operating account,
Then-
and at the end of the year, we have to split it 50/50. So part of it goes into the expendable trust fund, and the rest remains in the budget to help offset.
Yep. Yep.
Is that, is that a warrant article?
There was a warrant article, that's the way it was written.
No, to move the funds to like we do for like the educational part, the safety stuff that they do, that we take the money that's earned from inspections and things like that, and then we move it
Right.
to the.
So you're saying, asking if we have to have a warrant?
Yeah, so is that a warrant article to move that money?
I will double check on that. I believe so, even though you are agents, I believe that you.
Oh, well, that's what I wasn't sure, because I thought we were
Yeah.
agents of that fund, but,
That's a good question.
But I will double check.
well, it's
on
just
that.
like, it's like another warrant article.
I know,
I mean, I don't care, but it's just like,
it's another warrant article.
it's another warrant article. All of a sudden, we have 20 warrant articles, and we haven't, which is, it's good, because it means we're getting money through not taxation.
He's here.
Huh?
He's here?
Yeah.
I don't know if you can mention that.
Looks like Dan Leathers has been promoted.
Nope. He came in top in the captain's promotional process, so if we have a captain's opening, we'd be the first one to move up into that position.
Congratulations.
Somebody want to speak up?
No, sir.
Okay,
Congratulations.
Thank you.
yeah,
If I could say, I ran the process, and he knocked it out of the park. He did great. He's
Good.
gonna be a good captain.
good, that's great.
That's good. Sehr gut, as they say.
Any other questions?
No, I'm good.
Well, actually, just one part of our, no, it's actually just an observation, part of our discussion here, the cost of safer firefighter. So that's a single firefighter?
No, that was the whole,
All four, okay.
Why were we thinking 41 cents?
That's because that was information based on what I was given on the
I
whole.
can, once I get the tax rate, I can redo it and see what it would have been.
We're waiting.
I don't think we're gonna get the tax.
I don't know if we're gonna get the tax rate, because of the water district's holding up.
Yes.
Any other questions?
They have to do something for people.
Our vacancy, how's that looking?
Interviews Tuesday for
Interviews
two.
Tuesday, we interview with you guys. Two.
Yeah. Another one from Portsmouth. I'll tell you about them.
Okay, seeing none, let's move on to old business.
So we can move on to, we can kind of continue where we left off last night. And for clarification, we left off that we were questioning what the spreadsheet was saying and what we were thinking in our heads. We did some arithmetic in our heads, it just didn't seem to quite match. And so what I did is I went back to the office after the meeting, I poured over the spreadsheet and the formulas, and I found that all the formulas were correct, but there was an inaccurate entry into one of the line items that made it look like we weren't having as much taxation as we should have. I also discovered that since we received a grant, or were approved for a grant, and we'll be expending that money next year, that money also has to be placed into the budget, but it will be offset through the grant revenue. Once we spend it, we will be reimbursed. And so that's been corrected. And if you go to page 10, that's where those corrections are made. At the top of the page in gray, look in the far left-hand column of the chief's budget. So the operating budget reflects the addition of the grant and everything else that the commissioners voted on so far, or I've requested, I should say. You will see that it's $416,842 more than the previous year's operating budget, which is an increase of 12.13%. And then following down, so the operating budget, the grant awarded is the $53,000. Then if you subtract the $53,000 from the $34,37 amount, it comes to $33,83,228, which is an increase of $658,359 over what was taxed last year,
Could be.
which is the number, if you look over in, under 2023 actual. Which is in the end, it's a 10.73% increase, which if you, last night's spreadsheets, the number is the 10.73% increase over the previous year's budget is the same number as what we had last year. It's just the numbers, the two entries had to be corrected. So now it shows the actual increase in taxation amount and the actual increase in the operating account.
So if I look at the budget for this current year, the actual amount raised in taxation would be $2,724,868 plus the warrant articles.
Where are you getting that?
He's
Yeah,
looking at 2023 appropriated.
Oh,
Yeah, operating budget operating budget total minus grants.
yes.
Well, actually, you have to raise and appropriate the money first.
Yeah. And then,
Right, no, I
And
understand that.
Yeah, and
Is there a
then
line
as the
where-
money comes in,
Do we actually, is there a line where I can actually see how much the two towns paid?
go back to the, do your monthly report.
Mm-hmm.
And on page,
the
the
second,
operating budget versus actual,
the second page one. the first page.
Yeah, the second page one, it tells you what was budgeted, but those numbers need to be adjusted, and we've been waiting for DRA. These were based on last year's
Tax rate.
tax rate, so, and it shows that it's $18,000 less than what was actually appropriated, but we're waiting.
And Northfield had a reassessment done, so,
I think they would do next.
Yes.
well, I got the
They
paper
did.
on the Park Street property sitting on
We
my
need to
desk.
put that in the file.
Cause Sanderson just went through on, and I think Tilton's going through on it next year.
So, okay,
So do you want to go to page,
Okay,
the
so
pressurized
on
hydrant?
page, this is, so.
On page
Before
9.
you guys do anything on anything, we should put $1 on line 4332,
Page 9,
pressurized hydrants.
It's on page 9.
it's on page 9, yes.
It's like a little bit below halfway down.
I'll make a motion, line 4332, pressurized hydrants for $1.
I'll second the motion.
Been moved second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We should do the same thing for the next line item.
Oh, the tan interest, yeah, in case we need to take a tan.
Do you feel we pay that thing?
It depends on,
We haven't, had- I mean,
we
in my
haven't
time.
had to for years, but we probably should just,
In case, we
In
might have a
case.
judgment that we have to
Yes.
pay.
I just listened, I was at the selections meeting on Thursday and they were doing a tan and I just heard what the interest rate was and I choked.
yes, that is true,
It was 5.25%.
yes.
I'm trying to get a mortgage a little more than that.
No, no,
What was the rate?
5.25.
I move line 4723, TN interest in the amount of $1.
I'll second it. It's been moved and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
And then, the capital outlay, 4901, 2, 3, 4, and 9, you should pop $1 into each one of those, just in case you need to use.
I'll make a motion, line 4790, 490.
No, 4900, under that, these.
Oh, okay, 4900, 4901, 4902, 4903,
4904,
4904, and 4909
9,
for $1
yes, each line.
each line.
I'll second that.
Been moved and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Wait,
What?
do we do capital outlay?
Yes, we
Oh, 'cause
do.
this is nothing in it.
Right,
Okay, sorry. All right.
you can see where it's been appropriated before, but nothing has ever, it's been spent.
If you don't put money in the line item, it goes away after
3 years.
3 years.
But we also can't
And
spend
you
it
can't
if we
spend
need
from
it.
it either.
So if we go buy land, we gotta make it come out of somewhere else.
Special meeting.
Not a special meetings.
Also, on line line on page 5, line 430.08 Shed Road Communications Tower. That's where I placed the grant, because we have to raise and appropriate it before we spend it, so if you guys could approve that line, I'd appreciate it.
So you took the grant amount and then added the $50.
Yes.
Right, I move line 430.08 Shed Road Communications Tower in the amount of $53,903 for discussion.
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
Yeah, that grant's already,
It's been approved, and the equipment has been ordered.
Just not ordering
It's just-
that into it.
It's just,
once we get the equipment and install it, then we get the reimbursed.
we have to pay for it up front, and then they'll reimburse us.
It's not something that we can encumber.
No. You mean the grant? No, there's a performance period in which I have to do it
You're not worried about the equipment not arriving?
in. No.
I just didn't know, since you would have an agreement on the equipment, we can encumber the money, but if we don't have.
We don't have the money
Yeah,
to
I got
encumber.
you. Yeah, I got you. Okay.
Any other questions? Okay, been moving second. All those in favor?
All right,
Aye.
Thank you.
So we got the price of this,
you want to talk about legal expenses, 4153 on page 3?
Yes, so we should appropriate a normal amount in that line, I think, considering what Attorney Fitzgerald was related to us earlier, that we're going to be paying a retainer from this year's funds. So I think an amount of $4,000 or $5,000 would probably be normal business.
You don't have
enough.
anything going back farther than 21. What's a normal amount?
Well,
I mean, we've got 19,000,
It's all lawsuit related,
it is,
17,000 the 2 prior years.
Yeah.
That's all.
that's all related, because this goes back to 2021.
right,
So what normal business is, he reviews our contracts. Sometimes you gentlemen have legal questions that he has to provide an opinion, a written opinion on, things like that. I think $4 or $5 grand is sufficient to cover all those things. And
I'm
then,
not sure we'll be back to normal though by next year.
I'm not sure either, but
Well, what happens if what he bills us for as a retainer for this year isn't sufficient and we have additional billing
well,
as we close out the,
then we would have to find it somewhere else if we didn't appropriate more
Well,
money.
we only actually spent 11 grand. We got 40,000 in there.
right, and he's gonna send us a bill for some dollar amount, say,
So you got almost 30 in there, so if you appropriate another 30, it's $60,000.
well, I'm not suggesting we appropriate
Well,
30, but I
that
think
mu-
it should be more than 4 or 5.
10,
I
I mean, he's gonna send us a bill for like 25,000 and use up the rest of that money.
Yeah.
which will save us for next year.
Right. But what if that's not enough?
Well, I see where you're coming from, because we don't know.
Right.
It's 10,
Is it
10?
so in 2020, 19, $2,000 was budgeted and 1,500 was spent. In 20, $3,000 was budgeted and $437 was spent, so, you
But
know.
that was
it-
COVID too.
That's right, that was COVID, 19 wasn't COVID, 20 was the start,
20 was COVID, right?
yes,
Or was it 2019? No, it was 20.
20,
Like March
Well,
2020,
I'm-
right.
right at the time
No,
of
I
district
don't know.
meeting.
Should we put $10,000 in there? Should we?
The chief's
Yeah, I
got
think
30.
they're postponed it like June.
So you wanna put another 10 with it, or?
No, no,
No,
no.
I
Okay.
don't.
Oh, change it to
I
10.
don't think it should be
Yeah,
30.
Okay.
had it 'cause that was
Less
the
money.
day when it-
I think he was thinking
Less.
30
I think
because
the town had
Town
their
squeezed it in
meetings
between
because
the
ours
last
got
month.
canceled.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
okay.
was
We
only a
moved it
matter
to like
of
June or
days.
July.
Right, right.
We moved it to June or July, the schools had theirs at the outlet mall in the
Yeah.
parking lot.
That's right, that's right.
Talk to your
More
wife.
than that.
10,000?
that would be my thought.
All right. Make a motion.
I'll make a motion that we fund line 4153, legal expense in the amount of $10,000.
I'll second that.
Okay, it's been moved second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I don't know what we can tell. When's the next, on the 20th, when we have our next budget meeting? Before we get done, we can't.
Chief, on the first page, we don't need to, do we
No,
need?
the first page fills in, that's automatic.
Okay.
That's just like, it comes from numbers in the
It
backside.
does.
Okay.
It's like a,
it's-
it's like a summary.
So you don't have to go through the whole thing, you can just look at the page and it gives you a summary of everything.
So,
So basically all that's left are insurances and salaries. And the group life insurance line cannot be completed until salaries and wages are completed, because a lot of those are based upon salary.
but the numbers in the insurances right now reflect my request.
That's correct.
I think we discussed it last night.
Mhm. I guess I know where I'm at, I think I know where you're at. I'm-
I'll bring, you know, you want me to bring it up again? I'll bring it up again.
I wanna know what Eric's thinking,
I don't know what I'm thinking. On what part?
on the wages and salary line. 1,470,727.
I was on the insurance, sorry. That's what I was thinking of,
You gotta go here first.
well, I was thinking about the health insurance. That was at. I mean, we have to stay competitive.
Yes, we do.
Because it's gonna go. It's gonna be, if we lose people, it's gonna. Yeah, I think we have a very good staff right now. We only have one missing, right?
Yeah, well, he's not yet, technically, he'll be missing after Friday.
Friday,
It's his
Right.
last shift.
last
So
day.
this Friday's the last day, but you have interviews for Tuesday.
That usually it takes a while.
Yeah, I mean, let's just say, 2
That's,
weeks notice.
neither one are qualified, so, I mean, I shouldn't say that,
They are, you can't say they're not because they are.
yes, they have CPAT and they have Fire 2.
What's CPAT?
You have to
Physical
have.
abilities test,
Oh, okay.
certified physical abilities
Okay,
test.
thank you.
They've both
I just
passed
never
that.
heard, all my years, I never heard
Oh, I'm
you say
sorry.
that.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, you have to pass that test before you can be full-time.
We wouldn't be interviewing them if they didn't have that.
It'd be like me going, it ain't gonna happen. You'd be doing CPR.
That's a pension requirement from the state pension system.
I'm gonna bring it up one more time, so I know Kathy wasn't out here, Mike was out here. I am willing to give them the 5% increase in pay, to keep the 4 guys and pay the 15% insurance rate hike.
Okay, stop, time out. I am researching, there is a time limit on when you can change employees' insurance. You have to notice them prior to doing it. So I'm waiting to hear back on what that time frame is.
So you're not sure it's 15%?
No, I'm not sure how many days notice you have to give
Oh,
them.
I don't think he's suggesting changing the rates.
No, even
but-
if you change the percentage they pay.
Yeah, no, I don't think he's suggesting it. I think
Oh.
he's
I'm
noting that
willing
there's
to
a
give them
fif-
whatever
Oh,
the insurance
okay.
rate is.
Oh, okay.
But he's noting the 15% increase.
That's
in
what I
Right.
said in
insurance.
there.
Okay.
So whatever the insurance rate is, I'm willing to give them that,
Okay.
pay for it. I think that's a fair deal. I think it's fair for them, and I think it's fair for the people. Maybe we're not in line with some of the other places. Next year, we could, last year was a significant raise to try to keep up. And now we're talking another big one.
Oh, I know.
And not only that, we're talking they want to hire 4 guys. Now, if we're
We're
gonna
not
get,
gonna hire 4 guys, we have 4 guys
we
on
have 4
staff.
guys, but don't mean we can keep them. Somebody's liable to vote them down.
But they might vote them down, but it's a bottom line budget, so we still might have them.
So, Paul, I did some soul searching today and talked to a few people, and we've got 300 employees, and we chatted, and I just took the difference between 7.5% and 10.8% that the chief is proposing, and I'm looking at the dollar amount. If we lose 2 employees and we have to hire 2 and outfit them, and you've almost spent that same amount of money. If you have to replace 3 of the guys, then you've definitely spent that savings. So,
Now, how do you figure that?
well, because the chief gave a certain
Every
indication.
time we lose an employee, I have to start paying overtime to fill that empty slot. Now, even though we're having interviews on Tuesday, and if they pass that process, hopefully both of them will pass, and then I'll get to interview them later on to see which one we decide we're gonna hire, if we're gonna hire either one of them. Then they have to go through background checks and get their physicals. That takes how long?
4 to 6 weeks.
4 to 6 weeks. That whole time, I'm paying somebody overtime to fill it. That adds up pretty quickly. The gentleman that's leaving, we bought his turnout gear. Turnout gear is very expensive.
I know that.
He's a large man. His gear is not gonna fit anybody that we have. Is that large.
And I understand all
And so,
that, the overtime and
when you
everything.
add it all up, for every vacancy that we get, it costs me $55,000 to $65,000 to replace that person. And I ran some of the numbers today, but I had so many meetings today, I couldn't really provide an appropriate analysis, but that's what it's coming out to, anywhere between $55,000 and $65,000 every time somebody walks out the door. And that's money that we're not getting any return from.
All I'm saying is if they vote down the 4 people, that's it. You have to work with what you got. Don't mean we have to hire.
But the 4 people are in the budget, and that's what's going to the people.
If we keep them, what if somebody says, okay, I don't want 4 guys, you only allow 2 guys? That's it
They'd
then.
have to make an amendment on the floor to reduce the bottom line budget. But I think I'm gonna be able to prepare a PowerPoint that shows where we've come before we hired the guys and where we are now, and the improvement that in the quality of service and response times, especially to those simultaneous calls, which have been traditionally over 50% of our call volume, now it's simultaneous calls. Sometimes it's a lot more. Sometimes it's a little less, but it's never a lot less.
I'm not arguing the 4 guys.
And-
There's no
and-
doubt we do need 4 guys.
Sure.
I agree with that. However, I'm just trying to make it like we're gonna give something back. You're asking for 10, we're giving, we're not gonna give them the 10.8%. We're gonna give them the 5% to show good faith so we can keep them 4 guys.
I understand what you're saying, but the the other point that I wanted to make is, last year, we got like a 7.5% raise. To get us, I was asking for somewhere, I think it was 9.2 or something like that, 9.8, to get us to middle, and it ended up being a 7.5. We never got to middle, and now we're closer to the bottom than we were last year.
And I get that you're making a token gesture. We have to go through the budget committee, and they're gonna come up with the budget that's gonna be presented to the district.
I
And then
understand.
the district's gonna have the opportunity to do with it what they want. If the budget committee wants to lower that amount, because we're not able to demonstrate to them that we feel it's a valid number, well, that's their prerogative, but I don't think we should be I don't think the token gesture is worth the potential downside. So I'm gonna vote for the 10.8%.
My concern is that, okay, I wish we had the paperwork from last year. I bet if I went through my emails, we could see where we fell in that. But now, we've gone from here to here. Right, because, just looking at it now, before we even if we say zero, we're next to the last in terms of what, it's gonna be taillights down Center Street. Going up, this puts us an average now, but we're constantly we're gonna be having to catch up next year. If we don't do something now, you're gonna have to maybe do a 20% raise next year to catch, just to put you back in average, because you fell that far behind.
Right, because you don't know how many of these towns are gonna raise their rates.
I think I think it's my
Yeah, but you're also getting 4 guys this year.
We already
You're gonna keep the 4 guys that you got. So you're asking for more, you guys, I see what you guys do.
I look at it separately. The 4 guys we know we need, and now we need to talk about how much we're gonna pay our firefighters. I look at it as 2 separate issues. And I know it's a huge dollar amount, and the taxpayers are gonna question that.
we were at lunch today, and I was going through it with the contractor that works for us, and they have to bring people in, at $25 an hour. And that's for a guy that's just gonna pick up stuff on the ground. He's not even up in the bucket truck next to the electricity. He's just in a bucket truck, and he's making $25 an hour. And I sat there and I thought to myself, I'm asking these 4 people, you're not making $21 an hour. I don't know what you guys make an hour, but to go run into a building, I know that if I get called at 2 o'clock in the morning, because we brought up last night about sleeping and stuff like that, but I know if I get called at 2 o'clock in the morning to go out, pretty darn good chance I'm going to make it home. I don't know about these guys. That's the risk they take, and I'm asking them to do that for $21 an hour. That's my.
The other argument, which you kind of bring up a good point, the guys you work with, you're paying some guy $25 an hour to pick up crap off the ground.
Yeah.
What type of certifications and education and training does that gentleman have to pick up trash off the ground?
Got a med card to drive a truck.
All right, so the education,
And that
certifications, and training that we that we require of our employees to have is far greater than most
Does he have
employees have.
does he get the insurance these guys get? Does he get the retirement system he get? There are a lot of things you got to take into consideration when you're talking $21 an hour. Add everything up and see what the total is. With the insurance and everything, put it all together.
But what are you willing to pay to replace all that? But to get Dan here, Dan's just walking in the door as a new firefighter. Now we got to retrain him because Sean left, and we invested thousands of dollars into his career. Now we got to spend money on overtime to send him on whatever we may have to do to get these guys back up to snuff. And then we do that, And, oh, yeah, I know, they don't pay enough, so they're gonna leave, because they're gonna take the best job, so now we start the cycle over again. I mean, you talk $65,000.
Just want to point out, you mentioned that, you know, the $65,000 takes 5 years to, takes 5 years to make a good firefighter. It takes me 5 years to train a guy to be able to go out in that town and run a call. So there is more than the 55,000. If I have a guy who leaves, you know, thankfully, I don't want to say it, like, thankfully the last guy who left is 3 months. But when I have a guy who leaves 4 or 5 years, it takes me 5 years to train a guy right. And we've kept, the top of our staff has been there for quite a while now. I think we're one of the longest tenured fire departments around. And because of the support, you know, the commission has given us over the years.
And a couple of the people I've hired in the last year are from Franklin that had 7 and 16 years of service. Think of what that did to the fire department in Franklin. They're walking out the door because back then they weren't paying enough. And they came to us. One of them was a captain.
And he's willing to
And
come
then
here.
when I hired him, he went to the bottom of the totem pole as a safer employee. In fact, he's still a safer employee.
I mean, I'm not gonna sit here, I made my point,
Yeah.
and you guys made yours, so I guess the next thing, vote on it.
You want me to make a motion?
You go right ahead.
I make a motion, line 4220, 100 salaries and wages, 110, I'm sorry, 4220, line 110, career salary and wages, $1,470,727.
I'll second that.
Okay, it's been moved and second, any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Aye.
The rest of these numbers are based on that number?
Yes.
Yes.
Well,
How many holidays do we pay for?
10 holidays and 1 floating holiday. So 10 official holidays and you can pick the other one.
Wish I got 10. If Christmas falls on a Sunday, they just pay us for an extra day, we don't get the day off.
most places, well, yeah, because you're in the Carbons. That's the end of the year, sorry. Wrong edition.
But it's Monday this year, so.
Do we have to do anything on the replacement of the sign down at the building?
Well, wait a minute, I have a question. Why is overtime $100,000 more than last this year?
Here's my overtime worksheet.
We're still over
We're
here
not
on
done
the
with
wages and
wages and
salaries.
salaries, Paul.
Because we didn't approve the other 2 lines.
We're, all the numbers,
This is a copy of my overtime
Oh, yeah.
worksheet, how I get to that number.
Yes.
What is this?
This is how I get to the number for overtime. So, you look at the first column. First we take a roster of our employees, their start dates. That gives me how many vacation hours they're eligible for. And then there's a total at the bottom. So this year, eligible vacation hours is 2,304 hours. Then you take their personal time that they're eligible to take, and that adds up to 4,176 hours. Then I talk about that floating holiday, that's 12 hours for each person, 192. Then there's 2,476 hours of required training, and I have the required training worksheet here, that I'll share with you if you would like. But that's training we use, swift water, confined space, EMT refresher, all those types of things, stuff that we're required to do by regulation and law, and other highly hazardous operations that if we don't practice it, they're perishable skills. If we have to go and do it and we're not practiced at it, the outcome could be worse than what it would be. We're looking for good outcomes. So what I did is I took the average use of the last 3 years of sick time to come up with an average use of sick time, and for this year, it's 2,068 hours. So if you look at so if you add all these up, the total overtime liability is 9,148 hours, which, and at the overtime rate of $51.50, would be $471,122. Plus, we have a gentleman going to paramedic school, which we have to cover while he's in school, and that's 108 hours. But what I did is, instead of using the total total liability of sick and personal time, I took the average of what's been used over the last 3 years to reduce that. So the total that I'm asking for in overtime is 7,148 hours, which comes to that amount times this average overtime rate.
So we have a liability of 471,000.
Yes, that's our liability,
But based on history, you think 373,000 would cover it.
yes.
Thank you.
I think we figured out last night, we're on track to go over.
Yes, we've had an extensive vacancy at the beginning of the year, and then another one popped up right when we started hiring, and another one popped up, so we've had a lot of vacancies.
But I think last night I figured out we're gonna be like $20,000 over maybe.
Yeah.
Because this is only through, and this is
And the-
in
That's
October.
through,
Through
October, it's
October.
10 months.
yes, that is correct.
So it's $24,000, I mean, 25,000, it's another $50,000.
So now we have,
So we're gonna be,
another vacancy that's probably gonna be 4 to 6 months long before we can fill it.
whoa,
4 to 8 weeks, excuse me.
The holiday pay is paid out, so that line item the actual will come up to the appropriated.
That is correct.
Yes.
we got what? 3 more holidays this year? Veterans Day, Thanksgiving, Christmas?
Yep.
Yes,
I get 2 of those. Actually, no, I get an extra one, I get the day after Thanksgiving. And I get,
that's my floating holiday.
That's my floating holiday
I
as
get,
well.
I get Good Friday.
And John's.
I get Good Friday.
We don't get that. And we don't
No.
get some of the other holidays.
Must be a Massachusetts company.
No.
I used to get that off in high school.
Kansas City, the people that founded the company are very religious.
Are you gonna get Juneteenth?
No,
Yeah.
no, it's just because Good Friday is like the big Christian.
Yeah.
It is, yes.
Yes.
Like today?
Okay.
Catholic
No.
nowhere.
Oh, yeah.
You're probably gonna
Yeah,
underspend your call salaries.
Well,
Hopefully that'll be enough to cover your overtime overage.
this year, yes.
You'll be a little short.
Well, I think we'll cover the overtime because I think overtime, oh no, you're 20 in.
It's gonna be short.
Yeah, sorry.
Short.
But I'm sure, I think we've seen.
As you can imagine, I'm watching it very closely.
I can imagine.
I mean, he's usually pretty good, and that gap at one time was like, we were, 68.3% of the way through the year, we were like, 68.2% through the budget, so the gap is kind of going back to where it
Well,
normally is.
the edict of the, seems of the budget committee last year was
Motions
that
for some of
Yeah,
these?
you go right
didn't
ahead.
want me to have anything left over at the end of the year,
No, I know, it was,
which I like having, $50,000 to $60,000 cushion at the end of the year, because that goes into our unreserved fund balance, and if we save it and not spend it, then when we go to get a bond, if we have the appropriate amount in the bank, you get a better
Better
rate
rate.
than if you don't. And since we're looking to build a fire station or something on that, we'll be going for a bond at some point in the future. So I wanna make sure that's appropriately funded as well.
All right, I want to move line, again, in the 4220 fire section, salaries and wages. The overtime line, 111, in the amount of $373,684.
I'll second it.
Moved in second, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, the only thing left there is the holiday pay.
Come on. I'll move holiday pay line 110.5 in the amount of $65,996.
Second.
Been moved in second, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Back up to insurance.
Page 3.
So we have to do-
215 group life insurance and 210 health insurance. 250, those figures are based on the salaries you just voted in.
But does that include the call?
Yes.
Yes.
So that would actually change, or unless these
No.
are each?
No, she adjusted
No,
them.
that does not change, because that is like the New Hampshire Fire insurance.
Yeah,
And the group line of duty, those do not change. What would change if you change the salary rates is the short-term disability, the life insurance, and the long-term disability. Those are the ones based on salaries.
but we did change the call salary, so I didn't know if that.
It won't make any difference.
Okay.
We changed the amount of money we put there, we didn't change their pay rate.
So what would you say that a 215?
215, yes,
That group and the one above it, 210.
yes.
Somebody want to make a motion?
All right, I will. Personnel administration, 4155, under group health insurance, line 210, in the amount of $357,439.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second it for discussion purposes.
Been moved in second, any discussion?
I'm gonna come straight out and ask you, because we have the president, I'm gonna ask you, because I asked the question last night. What would happen if we asked the firefighters to contribute more to their insurance?
So, I think that when you look at benefits, it's a whole package, right? You're comparing pay and insurance and, our health insurance and our dental insurance. And I think that it's kind of all about that staying competitive in that same wheelhouse as everybody else. I know that, for years Franklin paid 100%. They're now paying 10%. Laconia's current contract, they pay 10%. I don't know, do you know Guilford's contribution?
No.
I don't know, I can't speak for them specifically. I know Franklin and Laconia are both 10%. I don't know Belmont off the top of my head. But I do think, I don't know what the total cost would be, savings would be of an increase in contribution, but if someone's looking, I never thought I would see the job market be the way that it is right now for firefighters. When I got hired, people were beating down the door and you were happy just to get an interview. It's so different now, and I think the gentlemen in the room that have been in this line of work would back me up on that it's wildly different than it used to be. So I would just hate for someone to look at coming here and look at an increased, insurance cost of being here versus, paying 100% of our dental, which we already do. That's kind of my 2 cents on it. I think we want to keep that number as close to that, that 10%, but we're paying 12
We're
currently,
paying
correct?
12, correct.
So I think we're already a little over what, a lot of places are 5 to 10. We're already a little above that, which I think is fair. But that's my 2 cents on it.
I think, I had asked the question because it was bugging me last night.
Yeah.
They pay 12% regardless of which plan they have.
We
Yes.
only have one plan.
Well, but
Well,
if they're
if you're paying
family
Oh,
versus.
family,
Yes,
dual, or single.
that's right.
Whichever you get, you pay for.
I'm good, I had asked the question and
You all set there?
I am, thank you.
Okay, it's been moved in second, I believe.
Yes.
All those in favor?
Aye.
The insurance opt-out is an actual figure.
Did Paul vote? Did he vote?
No, I didn't hear him vote.
No, I did
No.
not.
I think
Okay.
he
I
abstained.
did not.
Okay.
So that stays the same? In-
Yes.
We have to vote on it?
Yes, you do. You have to motion and vote.
I'll make a motion, 210-1, insurance opt-out, $62,599.
I'll second that.
Been moved and second, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opting out.
Yeah.
Six, five,
Line
Yeah,
215.01, short-term disability, down 1.3%, $4,506.
Second.
Been moved and second. Now that stays the same no matter what, I mean,
that's based on salary, yes.
it what?
It's based on their
Salary.
wages.
Okay. It's been moved and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, 215.02, group line of duty, $4,702.
That covers all department employees. Volunteer, call company, career, elected officials.
Elected officials?
Yeah, it's
Yes.
not much, believe me.
Just enough to throw you in a box and put you in the ground.
Pay for the
lucky.
finger sandwiches?
We have
I'll second that.
It's been moved and second, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The same goes for the next line, covers everyone as well.
215.01, New Hampshire State Fire Insurance, $1,036.
It's 215.03.
I'll second.
Been moved and second, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
$215.04, life insurance is down 15%, $2,400. Is this based on salaries?
Yes, it is. And it's capped at 50,000. They can buy extra if they want. All the department pays for is up to that cap.
Okay.
I'll second.
Been moved and second, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Long-term disability, down 15%, $3,464.
I'll second that.
Been moved second, that on salary, due to,
Yes.
been moved second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Social Security, Medicare, retirement, and unemployment insurance are left on that page. And again, that is based on salaries.
So all of them.
Yes,
Is
except
that,
for unemployment
does that reflect,
compensation, and we're self-insured. Pardon me?
does that reflect, the change to the call
It-
salaries?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, 220, Social Security, $11,720.
Second,
It's been, somebody make a motion?
You did.
Where's, assuming you
You've
did.
been making motions.
I'll make a motion to approve line 220, social security,
I'm just reading it.
11,720.
I'll second it.
Okay, it's been moved and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, I'll make a motion that we approve line 225, Medicare, $28,081.
I'll second it.
Been moved and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I'll make a motion that we approve line 230, retirement, $543,050.
Second it.
Been moved and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'll make a motion, line 250, unemployment compensation, $500.
Second it.
Been moved and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Loading tree.
So the only thing left on all of this was be the estimate for the repair or place the sign on Park Street. We've asked a couple of vendors a number of times to provide us with an estimate, and I believe we get one from them, so we'll put it off till next year. I guess. Unless we get one before the budget committee goes through this portion.
Is
If
this-
I do get one, I'll have the budget
Is it
committee.
something we could put some money in there, maybe $500 and see?
I don't know what that
I got an
takes.
email today from the state, what about them?
Oh, the,
I just got, I didn't realize all that.
I don't know what
I got
they
an
would
email.
Yeah, I read that.
Yes, I read that.
What's the
It'd be
Department of
worth
Corrections?
checking
Yeah.
in on.
Department directions, yeah.
Yeah, so I
That'd be
don't,
interesting.
I'm sure it
Yeah.
costs money, I don't know what it costs
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
Because I know,
I mean, obviously, they charge us, we use them for a lot of stuff,
yeah, the lockers and some of the other stuff.
Right.
all our paper goods and stuff.
I know the lockers were like
Paid
$500.
$1,800 for
Right.
I think they've gone, yeah, we paid
600 or something, 625 the last one.
something like that.
Yeah,
It
something
started
like
at like
that.
400.
I'm sure if you put money in there, you can find the rest of it someplace else. I mean, I wouldn't think it'd be more than a couple $1,000.
I think that's probably fair.
Last
You
time
know,
I went-
Nowadays, I don't know what
Was
to
it around
think.
3,000 last time?
I don't remember, see, I was
30,000?
thinking 1,800.
Was it?
but
I don't remember, it was a while ago.
I mean, you don't want it to fall in so you can't be repaired at all.
What happened? Driver's ed teacher's daughter.
Oh, Katie?
Mulcahy. Good job, Paul. Is she still around, or?
I heard she went to Florida or something. She
Okay.
was living in Laconia at one time.
Okay.
She lived in Taylor Hill.
Oh, really?
Well, when I was in
Her
school,
daughter?
she did.
That's right.
The daughter.
She does the signs.
She does the
Yes,
signs.
she was one of the ones that we asked.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
It's the sign shop, she runs the.
That's the sign shop.
So I didn't know who you were referring to, but we
Yes,
used
yes.
her.
Yeah, yeah.
Deputy, I chuckled because I thought you were going to say the driver's ed teacher's daughter hit it with her car.
No, no, no,
That's where I thought you were going.
That's where I thought they were going too.
Yeah, where'd she
Put
live?
$2,000 in and
Think she
we'll see what we can
moved
get
to
done.
Yeah.
Well, her mother did.
Oh.
The daughter didn't. I know the daughter didn't. Because,
No,
yeah.
she did the sign shop and something else, I forget what else.
Did you want to put some money in
Yeah,
that line?
yeah. Okay, I'll make a motion, we replace sign, or repair sign,
Repair / replace.
yeah, replace sign on the building, either, $2,000.
I'll second it.
Okay, it's been moved and second, any discussion?
Doesn't get done, it doesn't get done.
Right.
Yeah, but we raised appropriated.
Bottom line budget.
Well, I know. But my concern is, Well, I guess hopefully we'd have someone by the end of next year, if we don't spend it, that would have it, and then we can encumber the funds.
If we have a contract for it,
Right,
or a purchase order.
purchase order.
I'm sure there's somebody out there that'll, you got Joey Garno, you got,
Buckets,
Pocket sign, there's a couple of them.
yeah.
Okay, it's been moved second. Hearing, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Right.
Congratulations, everything's done but the warrant
Budget
articles.
is done, but the warrant articles.
We'll do that tonight.
No.
I don't need it.
Next time we meet, are we gonna meet for the warrant articles
Yeah, there's some of that.
soon, or is that,
They still
can't do that
Couple
until
of
later?
them down, so-
I can take
They have to be
and,
developed, right?
it's easy to develop them. A lot of them are boilerplate.
Thanks,
So I just plug in the, you know, the verbiage and then fill in the amounts.
Some of the amounts we don't know until the end of the year,
Right,
on some of the warrant articles.
Looking to get a finalized, updated version of this.
oh, you definitely have that. Yeah, because we won't know how the warrant article's affected until after district meeting, of course, but, so, yeah,
Is there any warrant articles that we haven't had in the past that the commissioners are considering bringing forth or anything like that? Like any, you wanna change something, bylaws or any of that stuff? Because then we'd have to go to work to
right.
do something like that.
I didn't come prepared with anything.
Yeah, I didn't come prepared.
Okay, so
Okay,
then we're not
okay, we can
dealing
move on.
with it tonight. Let's,
Okay, new business.
Send me an email if you come up with something.
absolutely, you know, verbiage is,
Update policies.
Yes. So, I went to Primex and took a policy class and reviewed our personnel policy manual, which turned out to be pretty on target. But there were some policies that was missing some language. And I gotta find the right package that was different.
That looks like policies.
It is policies, but that was if we were gonna not give them if we were gonna do a raise in a 10.8% in different ways.
In here.
Let's see. Yes. So, I've only printed the pertinent sections, and the language in red is what we need to add to comply with the most current standards legally. And since this is a revision of our personnel policy manual, you guys have to vote to accept the changes.
It's just a grammatical thing, but on page 12, in the line where it says red, it wouldn't be genetic information, comma, ancestry history, comma, or any others.
I can throw that in there.
I
And
don't
see,
know.
I'll ask, I can put it in, and the grammar will fix it for me.
Yeah, genetic information, comma, ancestry, or, right, the or needs to be removed as well. Right.
Yeah, that's, yeah, I'm not an English major, so I don't know. But it's just in the flow, right, reading it.
I have somebody in the office for those kind
My office is me, myself.
Yeah, I got that.
of Why do you need the addition on page 19 of electronic?
Because
You would
that's
be
how,
required to complete timesheets, does it matter what type?
It does.
yes,
Yeah.
you need to spell it out.
Wow, okay.
I do electronic, my company says electronic.
that's how we do it as well, with all electronic.
I think it even says in Paylocity, interesting. software that we use.
We changed software, so.
Yeah. It's cheaper and better.
Absolutely.
Don't get that much often. You don't usually see those two words together. Cheaper and better.
Some lawyers spent a lot of time.
This is, developing the personal policy manual is like one of the very first things I did when I arrived here, working with that defunct company that's our New Hampshire Municipal.
Municipal Association.
I have a question.
Yep.
I just see it here, and I know that we're in a different time, and under maternity leave, aren't non-females allowed to take maternity leave?
Yes, they are.
Like paternity leave?
Well, this says maternity leave, but
Yeah.
it says all female, but,
Maternity leave is for females, but paternity leave,
okay. Do we have a paternity leave policy? Because I think that includes adoption too.
yes, it does. Yes,
They didn't run by that in the class I took.
that should be included.
Well, it probably is somewhere else in the document.
Yeah,
We don't
no,
have
yeah.
Do we have it in FMLA already? I think that's under
We
FMLA.
do in FMLA, yes.
Well,
Well,
this seems
there's
like,
probably a whole nother section
well, this
somewhere.
seems like in every world, you don't
Yeah.
see just that word anymore.
Does include adoption.
It does include adoption.
Well, there's FMLA, which is,
Well, it
Family
even
medical
talks
leave.
about FMLA in here.
With her.
Paternity, maternity, that's all under FMLA.
Somebody had to pay the
I
bills.
just took a class
Yep,
the other day, I
I
believe.
mean.
Yeah.
The
when I-
FMLA starts the
yes.
same time as, it's paternity leave, but under FMLA.
Fortunately, I had them at night,
So do we have to approve
so
these
they went to work the
changes
next day.
to this
I would
policy?
say
When
they
it was
do.
time
You
to
have to
come
make a
home,
motion to
he came and
approve
picked
the
me up.
changes.
Picked me and the baby
Yeah.
up and took me
Yeah.
home, dropped me off.
Um,
Bye.
I'll
Like-
move that we adopt the changes as outlined in the document you provided us, as indicated by the red text,
dated.
with a revised date of August 8th, 2023.
I'll second it.
Okay, it's been moved and second, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
I-
So we'll have a new revised date.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it'll be today's date.
Okay, moving from org to gov on the website
Yes.
and email.
Will if somebody types in the org, will it automatically forward them, redirect them to the gov?
Yeah, so for a period of, I don't know how long they said, when we do make that transition, we're not there yet, but once that happens, there'll be two, if they type in the old address, it goes to the new address automatically for a period of time. And then at some point, there's a cutoff.
Yeah, well, we could still purchase the tnfd.org and have it will automatically switch it to the .gov when someone types it in, just so that, you know, all of a sudden it doesn't become
Somebody else can grab it.
someone else can grab, I don't know, I know some places do that, they'll purchase that domain.
Yeah, well, we pay for it now every 5 years or something, we have to pay.
Something like that, yeah, it's through
What's that?
GoDaddy.
GoDaddy.
Yeah,
But the .gov isn't from GoDaddy, it's from the Gov, the federal.
no, but the .org would just, it would protect it, and all of a sudden you're not becoming some porn site or something like that.
Google, Tilton Fire, send.
That sounds good, Deputy, but you know how many calls we get from Illinois? If you type in Tilton Fire, there's a Tilton, Illinois,
Excuse me.
and I get it all the time. I say,
Yeah.
probably once every 2
Yeah.
months. I've
Always.
actually been, the lady,
Tilton, NH. Because you're right.
yeah,
So
I had a woman say,
There's a
I'm giving
grant
labor,
for us to
I'm
do
over at
this,
the
so
Gaslight
I don't
Village.
believe there's any cost.
We have a Gaslight
Exactly.
Village. She was in Illinois.
We
took a
don't
little
know
while,
when
but-
that domain name comes up for renewal.
We get a
It's
bill.
.org, yeah.
Yeah, we get a bill.
It's funny.
Right, but is it next
Those are
year,
stupid
or
little
is it,
things
did we
I
just
look
pay
for
it
and I forget to
last
put in
year, and
age.
it's not gonna be for 4 more years? or-
There's a-
I don't
It's
South
it's
Main
not that
Street.
much.
No, I don't remember the
No,
last
no,
time I
no.
did it.
Well, my recommendation would be following along with what Eric has said, is we should keep the
.org.
.org
We can do that.
Oh,
and just continue to have it forward.
It was 2016 the last time we paid it, and before that it was 2009.
What was the cost?
In 2016, we paid $211.70.
It could have been for 10 years.
Cheap enough insurance, $211.
We buy all kinds of domain names.
God, you guys must,
Yeah.
you want everything going.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, you guys.
Dozens. and
Chevy,
dozens.
Chevrolet, Chev.
But you
GM.
redirect them all to your
All to
main.
one site.
Yeah.
Yeah.
one site.
So
We
we,
accidentally misspell it. You
so we all set with that?
Yeah, so I'm just letting you know that's what we're doing.
Do
We
we don't-
had,
still
we
don't
had
know
a
what-
security, a site
Assessment.
assessment, our internet and cybersecurity assessment done by Primex, the state, and our vendor, all cooperated, Mainstay, all cooperated with us. And they came out with these recommendations, and these recommendations are funded by a state grant, including changing business cards. They'll print new business cards for you, which is not a big expense, but
According to ICANN, it looks like 2026 is when it's gonna be,
21?
10 years.
2026.
2026. What, do you have an estimated date for when the new site goes on?
So it's ready to go live, but I need to talk with Kathy about it, and the last week and a half has been, we haven't had time to sit and breathe really.
So soon.
So
So,
soon, once I give them the go-ahead, it's a number of days after we give them the go-ahead.
Will that switch, when we turn that on, will it be the .gov? Or
No.
will it be the .org?
No, because we haven't gone through that process yet.
That's-
But they're aware that we're going to .gov, so they're making preparations. The other thing that the company is doing, Civic Plus, or whatever it's called, they're converting their software platform that all of the websites are based on, Dolan 7 to Dolan 10, and we're kind of stuck in that too, so.
All set?
Yep.
Number 8, review of the minutes, 9/12/23 public minutes. Everybody read them?
I have read all the minutes.
You haven't, or you have?
I have.
I have as well.
I'll make a motion, we approve the minutes, the public minutes of 9/12/23.
One second, that.
Move second, all those in favor?
Alright.
9/14/23 public minutes. I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Then move second, all those in favor?
Aye.
9/26/23 public minutes. I'll make a motion, we accept them.
I'll second it.
Move second, all those in favor?
Aye.
10/3/23 public minute meetings. I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Move second, all those in favor?
Alright.
And do I do this one? Or do we do-
you can,
Yeah,
but we're going into non-public.
so we can do it then.
Yes, we can do it then.
10/17/23 public minutes. I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Then move second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any other business, review and approve the manifest, which I believe we all did.
We did?
Public comment from the district? Nobody? Okay, non-public session per RSA 91-A:3, Roman numeral 2. C, disposition reports.
Yes, hold on just a second. And I will write out that paperwork.
Do I need to read that? Alright, so this is RSA 91-A:3, Roman numeral 2. Matters in which, if discussed in public, would likely affect adversely the reputations of any person other than a member of this board, unless such person requests an open meeting. This exemplification shall extend to include any application for assistance for tax abatement or waiver of a fee, fine, or levy, if based on the inability to pay or poverty of the applicant.
Roll call. Paul Wojcik, yes.
Tim Sattler?
Who seconded that?
Oh, I'm sorry, I'll second it.
Okay, now you can go on.
Roll call. Paul Wojcik, yes.
Tim Sattler, yes.
Eric Powers.
Time is
At 9, oh, no,
7:55.
7:55.
Okay.
Am I good to shut off, Kathy?
Yep. At,
Back in public at 8:03. It's fast.
I move that we approve the minutes of the non-public session on October 3, 2023.
Second.
It says the year is 3023 at the top of the page.
I'll fix that.
Okay, it's been moved second. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 And we don't have to seal that, do we?
No.
Okay.
And tell what you did in non-public session.
Non-public session, we reviewed the minutes from the prior non-public session. We reviewed the disposition reports and acted upon as required. And I guess those were the two items.
That's it. I'll make a motion, we adjourn at 8:05.
Second.
Aye.
We'll move in second, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
8:04.